Hey guys, so I'm going to be going over some of the breakdown of what went into the water effects in this scene here. So first off, we have the water. This is the new water that I made. It's a single layer water node from Unreal that gets depth information based on screen space. So you can add things like murkiness, color. On top of that, I added a world position noise on top just to break up the coloring a little bit. Then I added some panning normals that multiply, that pan at different speeds. And then I also added this distance to nearest surface node so that we can get some rings. If you can see here, this rock will add rings based on where it is in the water. So next we have this first waterfall. I made it with a combination of 3 different things: flowing water node, a flowing foam, and then a foam effects. So if we go into the material, here is the waterfall water material. It takes the absolute world position and applies a panning noise. And then we also have flowing normals. On top of that, we have a depth fade node so that it blends into the rocks and doesn't have a harsh edge, and then just a color for the Fresnel. In the foam layer, it's a similar setup with the depth node, but then we're masking out a lot more aggressively with this second panning noise node. If I put it into the color node, you can see what the opacity mask looks like. Finally, we have our waterfall splash effects here. It's a mixture of some mist, which I made with the smoke sub-UV that comes default in Unreal. And then I added some gravity, some drag, and like an upward force vector in a box location. And then for the small water droplets that are coming off of that, I used a water drop texture. This is one that does come default in Unreal, but then I added some refraction so that it looks more like this and looks more like water drops when it's in the scene. And just have a very short particle spawn and upward force on that. Next, we have this water fountain feature, more of a man-made look. And for this, I use that same water drop texture. This uses the water drop feature. It also uses a small mist that just adds a bit more volume. It's really see-through, so you may not even be able to tell that it's there. But I can focus it and you can see it's just a little bit to add some texture. And then we also have collision. Wherever these water drops hit in the water plane, it adds a water ripple texture. As you can see here, these are planes that are spawning with a water drop texture, and I can go into how I made that as well. So here is the water ripple effect. Basically what I did is took in a dynamic parameter to get varying times on how quickly the water droplet will move. Then we pass that into a sine node, it subtracts, and then we do a lot of math to get that ripple effect based off of this texture that I made in Substance Designer. It's a normal map of a cone in the green and blue channel, and then just a gradient circle in the red channel. And the gradient circle is what is making the rings with the sine node, and then the normal map is what we're passing in to get that detail here. And then we also add a depth fade node as well, so it blends into the water texture a little bit more. And that's it. Just put a pipe on top so it looks like it belongs in the environment a little bit more, and that's how we make a waterfall in Unreal.